It is a post Summerslam weekend episode of Pro Wrestling Proverbs, your mom's favorite pro wrestling podcast. We gotta make this quick. There's thunderstorms hailing down here at my house. Power can go out any second. I don't know about you, but I live in an area, especially here in Michigan. For some reason, anytime someone farts hard enough, the power goes out here. So we gotta make this quick. But first, before we do jump into our big weekend, our long, busy weekend last weekend, check out our SummerSlam Jeopardy video. There's a giveaway at the end of that. We would like some more people to enter into that giveaway to give out the prize that Logan essentially lost.
Yep.
He's a big old loser. So
yeah, Logan is a loser.
He is. So make sure you go watch that all the way to the end to figure out how to enter into that giveaway. We'll be giving it out to hopefully one of our endearing fans. We appreciate it. But yeah, we are about a week removed from our SummerSlam weekend. We did Wrestlecon, we did SummerSlam, we did really cool Comic-Con up in Flint. And the reason, we should have got this out pretty sooner, but it was a very long weekend. We were very tired, boys. And I helped coach football, and that started this week. So I was really, really tired all week. I'm still very tired right now. Literally, as soon as we're done recording and this is uploaded, I'm going to be sleeping. So if there's anything wrong with this uploading, I'm sorry. It will not get fixed until I wake up tomorrow. But we started our day Saturday in downtown Detroit, waking up at 6 a.m., getting down there at the Huntington place.
Yes.
Not Kobo anymore, unfortunately. We made it down to the Huntington place. Found a nice place to park down by the Rensen. Then we went into WrestleCon. Kind of jarring, I'd say. I don't know what my expectations were for WrestleCon. Nothing against the talent itself there. We'll get into later. I had a lot of respect for a lot of the guys I met there, especially people that I kind of had like a preconceived notion about. Really changed my mind on them. But for a WrestleCon convention, and from pictures I've seen of this convention and other locations, I wanted more, essentially.
Yeah, it was one of those things, and I put on Twitter, and I do it for all the big wrestling cons, like my dream list of people. And there's usually like some throwaway ones that are legends that, I want to meet, but really don't make the circuit anymore. Every year before this that I looked at, D'Lo Brown was there. And there's a couple other people that were like mainstays of WrestleCon. They weren't there this year. And there's only, there's 2 merch booths. One of them was High Spot's own.
I wouldn't really call them merch booths either. Well, except for the one. The one had just signed turnbuckle pads, which are cool.
Signed figures,
and like wrestling pay-per-view chairs that
they also had the signed posters. They brought in figures of people you could meet to get signed. They had a couple of on the table. They had like the items. I don't know what High Spot's crate is called, but they've got a wrestling crate. So a lot of the items out of there were on the table. I was finally able to pick up the Ric Flair Last Match DVD because I wasn't going to pay shipping for it. And the cool part about it was I didn't hear myself yelling at Jeff Jarrett, but I do swear I can hear a "Thank you, Conrad" chant, and I think our good buddy Zion's voice has picked up how loud and booming it is.
A "Thank you, Conrad" chant, really?
Yeah, which now I don't think any of us agree with, but yeah. at the time.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with Conrad.
But the thing I was going to say, though, is WrestleCon. So the weekend we did WrestleCon, there's also about a 4-day convention in North Carolina called The Gathering, which had a lot of your old-timers. So that took out, and when I say old-timers, I mean like NWA, late 70s, early 80s. The people that fought the Funk Brothers, the people that ran the roads with Harley Race, That's why a lot of those guys weren't at this. And even the ones that were, like, who'd I point? I think it was the Godfather attended both. And I think that might have been the only one. Maybe DiBiase attended both. But anyway, I know StarCast is also in about a month. And glad we're not going to it this year. The only big names besides AEW Ring of Honor people so far, we got Dennis Rodman, you got Marty Jannetty, and you got Eddie Kingston's idol mentor. That's it. But the point I'm getting at is, a lot of the AEW and Ring of Honor talent being at that probably makes sure they can't be at other cons or at WrestleCon. I believe that the Acclaimed got announced early enough, or they were kind of grandfathered in. And besides that, you've got, the Hardys, Sting, Jake Roberts, Tony Schiavone. Tony Khan's not going to fire them. They're all legends at this point. They're not like full-time workers,
Right.
But I think that took away from it. I'll be interested to see if maybe next year WrestleCon combines with another con, or... But yeah, their big draw was, they had Sting there, which was cool, but it was Nails, which I'm still a little confused on. I don't know if that's them, like, taking a jab at Detroit, like, haha, we have the Inmate. Like, I don't know. I
honestly, it felt like we were in the fucking, like, jail of Cobo Hall. That's what it felt like in the room we're in. A very small room from what I was expecting. I thought it would at least be, like, the main floor there, kind of where, like, Autorama's at, for people that have been to Cobo before. We're, like, in, like, the basement, essentially.
Yeah, and it was just odd to me, because you walked in, so, people had times that they were supposed to be there. I know Sting did not get there on time, and I know that Sting also left early. He was supposed to be there, I don't remember the exact time, but let's just say 9:30 to 12. That might have actually been it. He got there a little before 10, and he started walking around and saying hello to the boys about 11:30, 11:45. So
you got paid for the full time too. Don't you forget.
Oh yeah. No, this was the first of 2 conventions that we had our little QR code. I left those at the con. Maybe someone picks it up. Maybe if we've got new listeners, new fans, they found it.
Hey, I'll do this. If you're one of the people that grabbed it from the pisser in the bathroom, we'll give you the prize from the SummerSlam Jeopardy. Just off the rip. Just let us know. You'll just get it.
Yeah, because, you'll agree with me. Most other conventions usually have, I don't know what to call it, but there's a table as you're walking in. And it's usually got flyers and business cards and of things in the area. WrestleCon didn't have that. But like I said, I don't know if it's because all these other conventions. That's my thought on it. Because we even looked at it when they announced WrestleCon at Detroit, and we were excited because of previous years, the amount of people. I also don't know if it's because it was for SummerSlam, and it wasn't WrestleMania weekend like normal. If people weren't willing to come to WrestleCon for that reason, like if the wrestlers themselves. I also don't know if because it wasn't. The last one was WrestleMania weekend, either in the same city or near the same city as Mania. So then they could pull, Japanese talent. Mm-hmm. Mexican talent. Like, I don't know if that's what happened, but yeah, it was kind of small. It was bare bones. It's what you'd see at an old time wrestling convention, where it's just the wrestlers sitting around. They've got their banner up. They hang out with their friends. We got there. Yeah, it was a little jarring. I thought we were gonna be in and out in like 2 hours. And
you waited in line for about 2 hours.
Yeah, Sting was the first one we got in line for. Like I said, he wasn't there. So after, 45 minutes of that... Well, because as we were in line, you guys met the Acclaimed and Ron Simmons and Enzo.
Yeah, we did all of them. The Acclaimed didn't have that long of a line. They had a little bit of a line. I think obviously everybody was waiting for Sting and Jeff Hardy to show up.
And Bret Hart.
The
line for Bret was long, and for whatever reason, Brandy Rhodes' line is long. Nothing against her, but even when they announced the table next to her, because it was the Dusty Rhodes Foundation, you paid $50, you could wear Cody Rhodes' Money in the Bank jacket. I said it there. If it would have been any other show where it didn't have that dumbass British flag right across the shoulders, I
Yeah.
probably would have done it. I think that made the jacket look like someone took the jacket and created a wrestler mode and just draped the flag across it. I don't want that. But those were the big lines. Kevin Nash didn't want to be there. He had sunglasses on the whole time.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't either. Especially when like people will acknowledge like, oh man, his son died last year. Like, oh, his best friend died last year, and they're like, well, he's still at the convention. Hey, he's still there, but cut him a little slack. All right, he moved away from this city. Now he's back and listening to you bitch about him. But yeah, you got to see your three pretty quickly.
Yeah, we were pretty much done before you even took one step in the Sting line. So I kind of took this as a chance. I've met mostly everybody I've wanted to meet. I got to meet and greet. There's just a couple here and there that.
The realistic ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a
That
good.
you can meet.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah, because I know you'd probably love to meet CM Punk, but I can't see him. I mean, maybe he'll do a convention, but I see him charging.
He only does the C2E2 convention
Oh,
like every
that's
other
right.
year. So one of these times I'm gonna have to plan ahead. So I want to get one of either the poster I got at Starcast or the one you sent me signed eventually. That's the goal. I don't even I probably won't even pay for a picture or anything if it's that expensive, but we'll see how it is. Well, so I kind of took this as because my fiance at the time, or no shit.
At the time.
Oh shit! I shouldn't say that. My fiance, she hasn't really done. I'm about to get in big trouble. She hasn't really been to any of the like wrestling conventions before. Like she did Astronomicon with us, I think.
Yep.
No, she did the Great Lakes Comic Con. I don't think
Yeah, she did Great Lakes.
she didn't do Astronomicon with us, which isn't
Nope.
really. And that was the Jimmy Hart incident, so
Yeah.
she never really got a chance to meet any like wrestlers. And here had some of her favorites there, so it's kind of like I was kind of doing it more for her and her younger brother. Evie, shut up. Love you. Anyway, one of the ones she wanted to meet was the Acclaimed. So we get in line. We're probably like the third person in line at the time. And we get up there, and the Acclaimed were so nice. They talked to everybody for just long enough to where it made everybody's time special, but not to the point where everybody in line behind you was getting pissed off about it. It was very very naturally flowing. You're paying, you get picking out what you wanted, and they're holding a whole other side conversation with you. And they're also the loudest in the convention hall. Everybody heard them because every time you go for a picture and you went to scissor them, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster going, ah, yeah. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they did it. They did it a long time too.
They did. The funny thing is, so I was the one taking the pictures and video it for him. Like I kind of do it with you and your brother. I'm always the photo man, which I enjoy. I like doing that. So I'm recording it, and I have the video of it. And they're getting ready for the post for the picture, trying to figure out how to scissor 4 people at a time. And Anthony Bowens calls my fiance Mom. He's like, okay, Mom, let's go. And her brother's like, that's my sister. And the picture we have, Max is going, oops, with a kind of like a silly face, and then he says, "There's my fiance." It's whatever, all in good fun. And then we go over, and we couldn't find Enzo at first. I thought he bailed. And I was like, oh no, literally the only person that she actually legitimately wanted to meet was Enzo. It's her first favorite wrestler. Say what you want, whatever. It's hers. She loved him. Back when she wasn't really a fan, but she was forced to watch it because I was watching it type deal. She was one of the first he was one of the first wrestlers she gravitated to, bought the first merch of. So it was very concerning when we could not find him on our first walkthrough. It wasn't until your dad was like, "Oh yeah, he's at a table by the bathroom."
Yep.
I was like, "No sign or nothing." I was like, "Oh, well, I guess we better get over there." And so we get over there, and there's one person in line ahead of us, and I don't know how to say this politically correct. It was one of those people that likes to talk a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He paid for an autograph, but he wanted a picture too. He wanted a selfie with him, but he didn't pay me for a selfie. But he just kept asking questions about like his rap career and something about his dad too. I couldn't really make it out, but Enzo was just trying to be polite about it, and he's like, because he knew we're standing in line behind him.
Yep.
So he kind of gets in the sun along his way. He finally got the idea that like, you can't stand here all day and talk to me. So now, I've never seen my fiance starstruck really. Like,
yeah.
When we met Sting a couple months ago, she didn't really flinch at him, right?
Yeah.
So we get up, and she doesn't know what to say. She literally says to him, "I don't know what to say to you. I'm so nervous right now." And he was like, "Oh, come on, man. No, you're too nice. You're too nice." And my girlfriend naturally has my fiance. She naturally has like anxiety and stuff like that. So she's like shaking, like her fingers are shaking, and she's showing it to him. And he comes around and he gives her like this big, long, like 45-second hug. I'm getting a little concerned at this point. I was like, "Oh no, so come on, not in front of me, man." I appreciate it. But he was super nice. He talked. We would talk to him. We were there probably like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you were there for quite a while.
Just having like a conversation with him, and then we get the pictures taken. And he does the. He had my fiance be like big cast with like the hand up in the air, and he did the Jordan pose that he does. Super sweet, super cool dude. I have his Venmo now, so I'm thinking about I'm gonna request him some money.
Yeah, see if he responds.
Might end up with a block. I have Max Caster's Venmo now too. I'll send him. I'll send him a pay request too. And get some of my money back.
Since I was in line for Sting for all this, did you do Ron Simmons first, or did you meet him after Enzo?
We met him after Enzo because her brother wanted to meet Ron Simmons.
Okay.
For what reason, I don't really know. He wasn't a fan when he was even doing the damn thing, so I don't know if it's something that's like he's younger than us he's younger than your brother, so I don't know if it's something that like the young kids now are watching like on YouTube, like it's just coming up in like funny wrestling compilations that we're gonna watch at school or whatever.
I mean, maybe he was watching heavily in February during Black History Month, since one of like 3 clips they play is Ron Simmons winning the world title. Nothing against it, but
he did say, he was like, my fiance's name's Kirsten. Kirsten, you do know this is the first ever African American world champion in wrestling history, or WWE history.
Probably seen the video. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before, so I won't talk about it too much. But they show like the same 3 clips, and they talk about the same 5 people.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
It's Ron winning the title. Now they have Kofi winning the title. I know they throw Biggie winning it, and then they usually show Jackie but Jackie and Alicia Fox winning the women's titles. And every so often they'll throw in the Rocky Johnson, Tony Atlas winning the tag, but it's usually those. And then they'll have the walkthrough of like, and Bobo Brazil and The Rock and that's about it. But yeah, no, we probably watched heavily in February.
Probably.
And he's like,
I'll have to ask him. I'll ask him what his big obsession with Ron Simmons is. Like until we got into the building, I never heard him even mention Ron Simmons' name in any wrestling conversation we've ever had before. But now that I'm sitting here and I have to come up with $60 so we can get an autograph, Well, and because we go over there, and everybody else there that I know of took some sort of like electronic payment,
Yeah.
except for Ron Simmons. I go up to him and I'm talking to him. He's like, "Oh, sorry, man, cash only. Only do cash over here, my man." I was like, "Okay, good thing we're at the Huntington Palace or whatever the fuck it's called, and I
Yeah.
have a Huntington bank card, so I was able to get cash out of no fee. So he's lucky." If I did have no money in my Huntington account, I had to use a different card, we would have had real problems and would have met Ron Simmons. So we went there. We got a Ron Simmons autograph. All in good. He was a good guy. He got he made. It was kind of like the Matt Hardy deal at Starcast. Even though we only paid, I don't know if there was a policy there, which I don't think there was. Like there was at
No.
Starcast. He made all of us get in a picture and had his helper
Take the picture.
So we did all this, and then Logan probably took 3 steps in line at the Sting line.
Yeah, we took a couple. Then my wife offered to stay in line for Sting, so we could go do because pretty much like you said, Sting, Randy, Jeff Hardy, Bret Hart. That was the lines. Everyone else,
95% of people that were in the building were in those lines, and then all the other wrestlers were like free reign. You can just walk right up to them.
So the first one we went to, I went up to Ted DiBiase. That was the big one I was going for. I liked his stuff at Mid-South. I liked the $1 Million Man character. I was excited because one of the 8x10s was him with the old WWF title, which, I mean, he bought from Andre. He held it for a day. He thanked me for being a fan. He questioned why he's not in the record books for having the heavyweight title. But, David Arquette is. Things like that. I felt bad, but I wanted to make sure that I was only meeting Ted. I was only getting his picture. I didn't want one of Bray Wyatt's dad, Mike Rotunda. Just not necessary. Then that's when we went to Ron Simmons. It was actually 80 for the combo
Which
I gave him.
That's something I don't understand about him. It was 60 for either a picture or an autograph, or 80 for a combo. That does not make sense to me.
Yeah, did 80 for the combo, and I gave him 50s because I didn't want to do all my 20s yet. And he goes, "How about $20 more? I give you another picture." And they were already putting the 50s in the bag, so I'm like, sure. So then I pulled my brother up. I had him pick an 8x10. He picked the football one, which my brother's never really watched football or knows of like the significance of like Ron Simmons being in the Heisman race as a defensive player, being one of the best Florida State players of all time. I don't know. Then we walked back. As my wife said, that the Sting line, they were getting through the pre-buys. So then we stood in line, waited for the regular line. Met Sting, got a picture with Sting. Didn't have to get an 8x10. He already had the 8x10 from you. Sting, I've liked, but he's never been like a big. Clearly, I like the Four Horsemen, and I really, on my old tapes, liked the NWO. I mean, if I like the Horsemen of the NWO, I'm probably not going to be like a huge fan of Sting. I like his TNA stuff. I like what he's still doing now. Just not one. He's not one I needed. Getting the picture's cool. Yeah, my brother was super excited. So then he got to meet Sting. So now that's Kurt Angle, the Hardys, and Sting off his list of favorites.
There we go.
Some of DX. After Battle in the Creek with Rob Van Dam, he'll pretty much just have his unrealistic ones. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio. And everyone else is dead. So,
Yikes.
I mean, Scott Hall, things like that. But because he's met Mick Foley, he met Nash and Pac, that kind of thing. But then we went to Jake Roberts because I decided I was going to meet him there instead of the really cool con. Just he had no line. I felt bad. Didn't say a thing. We went up. I'm gonna try not to bash the guy. I said hello. He said hello. And then, I thank the people for coming. Because I know it's probably more of a strain on them to get a plane or get a ride from wherever they live to Detroit than it is for me to go, hour and a half.
Right.
He grunted. No, thank you for being a fan. No. Oh, it's all right. Anything for the fans. He also, and this is a little nitpick of mine, I realized that Really Cool Con that Wrestlecon and Really Cool Con are technically my 24th and 25th conventions that I've went to. So I've made the rounds. I've met quite a few people.
Yeah.
He had his Pepsi and his chips just sprawled out on his table, which you can't have them like on the ground or something in your lap.
No, why not?
But yeah, after Jake, I forget where in that is. My dad and his girlfriend came. My dad met Scott Steiner. I think I've touched on it here before. My dad really liked tag teams, so Legion of Doom, Steiner Brothers. Then he liked bigger wrestlers, or he liked his ECW people, Sandman, even WWE ECW like CM Punk. But then he liked his big guys, and it makes sense when I list, Scott Steiner, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Batista, Ryback. He just likes the big guys that go in there and they fuck people up.
Right.
So he met Scott Steiner. And then he met the Boogeyman too, because he likes the Boogeyman. And then they were nice enough to get in line for the Hardy Boys, so that way my brother could meet Jeff. We wouldn't have had to wait in that line, but as my brother pointed out, while being just a few yards away from Jeff, that Jeff got into that legal trouble last year around StarCast, and his court date was on my brother's birthday. Okay. So, yep. But he got to meet Jeff. So, like I said, the Hardys, another one crossed off the list. I kind of felt bad for Matt because I noticed when my brother went up, Matt looked at, I call him the handler. But he's like, is this just Jeff? And the guy's like, yeah. So then Matt sat down. While we were in line, that's when Sting was saying bye to people. He's walking up to Bret Hart, walking up to Lex Luger. I didn't think anything of it. Until I saw this like 4'11" woman. She's like, no pictures. And I start listening, and she's like, you didn't pay for a picture of Sting? You're not just taking pictures of him with his friend? No. And like waving her arms. So,
she thought she was...
I have a picture of Sting and Lex Luger. Yeah. I mean, I look at it this way. It's probably bad that we started with StarCast for, like, wrestling conventions.
As much as StarCast,
as much as we hate on how the bracelets went, not being able to meet Pillman... It was a good time. There was a lot there. Like, anything that we wanted was pretty much at our fingertips.
Right.
That Squared Circle Con I went to, a little bit smaller than StarCast, but still same thing. Everything I wanted was there. Figures, movies, art. This one, I still, and I'll die on this hill until I am proven otherwise. I think the StarCast announcement, as well as this Gathering convention that we didn't know about, I think those two really hindered it. Because like I said, Gathering had all the old timers. StarCast had, your quote-unquote indie with Ring of Honor and AEW, the people that could be an indie draw. So Wrestlecon was kind of left with the scraps and the people that already signed on. I'm glad it was only $10. That made me feel better. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I wish there was more, especially... I think we overhyped ourselves by looking at the old WrestleCon and being like, wow, they have 100 guests.
I know.
I know when they first announced them, we're like, wow, it's getting going. And I was even trying to figure out, I'm like, Nails, Nash, Luger. I'm like, is this going to be an early 90s con? We're going to get to see, like, Steamboat and Cornette and, like, what's happening? Nope. They didn't even play into the Lex Express, which was at the 93 SummerSlam, which also took place in Michigan. That would have been my selling point.
Yeah, do like the old SummerSlams, and like do like more Detroit based. Like there's
Yeah. Oh, they did. They had Zach Gowen, remember?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Zach Gowen is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he walked around like he owned the place.
It's his city. Why not?
Yeah, I wish Nash would have powerbombed him. But yeah, Wrestlecon was fun. Like you said, you did it more for your fiance and her brother.
Yeah.
It was a birthday gift to my brother. I did like I did last year. I didn't do it as much as a surprise. I reached out to people again. I was like, hey, birthday's coming up. Turning 17. I know it's a little bit harder to buy 17-year-old gifts. And I know you don't just want to do gift cards. So doing this definitely worked out. I think minus Bret Hart, he probably talked to the 3 most expensive people there. The most expensive tables, I should say. I think price.
I think it was funny that you went and talked to was it Jake Roberts because he was lonely looking.
Yeah.
I had to stop my fiance from going over to Danielle Monet's table.
Yeah.
Because she was sitting there. She's like, my fiance was like, but look at her. She just seems so nice, and no one's sitting. No one's talking to her. I'm like, babe, I'm not spending $40 to go talk to
That
her.
happened at Starcast too.
Yeah, her and Emma.
We were in line. I think it was Jeff Jarrett, and you were standing in line with my brother and I, and we looked to the right, and I think you were like, "Is that Emma?" And I turned and I'm like, "Oh, and Summer Rae."
Well, they got the short end of the stick on that one because they decided Jeff Jarrett's line like went right in front of her table. So unless you were like in line or like walking along that side for some reason, because she was up against the wall, right? It kind of like people trying to imagine. It was like
they were sitting next to they were like near the WrestleQuest game too.
Yeah, well, Jeff Jarrett was like in the corner, like a corner spot, like at the back of the building. Right, and then along like the other side, if you go like a 90-degree angle, was Summers and Emma's table, but the Jeff Jarrett line was so long, they had them line up along like that side of the wall because people needed to walk on the other side to get to like the middle tables. So just the way they were positioned, you just could not see them.
I bet you if Conrad could change one thing about that convention, they probably would have slapped Jeff Jarrett in that bigger room where they had like Mick Foley, Dan O'Brien, and Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, I'm assuming they didn't plan on him being part of SummerSlam that weekend.
No.
Anyway, WrestleCon that's pretty much wraps up WrestleCon.
Yeah.
For the most part, we pretty much wanted to leave after pretty quickly. That last
it was
hour.
a good thing. It was a good thing that the Hardys and Sting had such a long line, or else it would have been quick. But, like I said, $10. We were there for other people. They got to see their things. It was fun. And then after that, I said goodbye to my family and went with you guys.
Yeah, I told them to kick it to the curb and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, we thought Anthony was in the bathroom because they said goodbye to everyone. And like, where's Anthony? And I was like, I don't know, probably in the bathroom. And then they left. And I looked at Kirsten and I go, hey, where is he? Oh, he's up there getting a shake. And I go, oh.
Yeah, because we went and got lunch at Shake Shack.
Pretty good.
It was all right. I thought for what I paid for that meal, we did not get a lot. It tasted fine.
Yeah, it was like an upscale diner. That's what they were trying to go for because they had people bring you out your food. There wasn't any combos, which was familiar in the diner days, and then the shakes too. That was another. Yeah, they're trying to go for an upscale diner. It's pretty good. Then after that, we made our way to what was the exact term for it?
The SummerSlam Superstore.
Yeah. That was where the first time I locked eyes with they had this really cool miniature helmet. Yeah. SummerSlam on it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I don't know. Had all the shirts, had all the WWE Funkos.
Well, they almost had all the shirts. The one shirt I went into because I looked on WShop.com like the week before because they released them. You can like order them or go pick them up at a thing. There's this one I wanted. I'm literally looking on WShop right now because I wanted to see it. I'm seeing if it's on clearance yet. It was this white T-shirt with the old like retro SummerSlam logo on. I really wanted it. Wasn't there, and it wasn't at the
Nope.
one at the stadium either. So
No, but they had a lot at this little pop up area. Like I said, Funkos, figures. They had belts behind a counter, flip flops, luggage tag, all sorts of stuff. I didn't get anything of this one either. I said I was gonna wait.
I bought.
We thought maybe
I bought a shirt there for her brother. I bought the Trial Combat shirt.
Yeah, that shirt makes me laugh because Roman has so many accomplishments.
Jason has like 3, and they're all tag team.
Tag team title, tag team title, tag team title, and then Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Oh, then Roman, heavyweight, this title, tag, Royal Rumble winner, main event at this many WrestleManias, has had this long of a reign.
They have the shirt on W Shop right now. Still.
Clearance yet?
No, it's not clearance. It's still $30, which is cheaper than what I would have paid at the store because all the shirts at the store were $40. Whatever. I'm not upset about it. I just seems like every fucking event I go to, I have some sort of shirt debacle. All right, I'm over it. I'm over these fucking shirts.
I didn't buy a shirt. At one point, we're gonna do a video of my quote unquote like a wrestling collection, and I have 2 videos dedicated to shirts. I have a basket in my closet because I have too many, so I've decided to cut it down. I try to find other souvenirs as I go to things. The one complaint I had about a lot of the souvenirs is besides the shirts, almost all of them said I was there.
Yeah.
Which I know people want that. But, you're trying to buy gifts for someone, you don't want to buy them a keychain that says I was there and give it to them, and it's like, haha, you weren't there.
Haha, sucks to be you. I was there. You weren't.
But, we went, we hung out in the car for a little bit, and we ended up going to, Ford Field. We saw Kathy Kelly. We didn't officially meet her, but, if those that watch SummerSlam... If they saw the part where she was interviewing people, and then there was the guy, I think it was like dressed up as Hogan, got into a quote-unquote altercation with another person, and they like shoved each other a bit. I thought that wasn't staged at first, and then they re-recorded it. So...
Well, yeah, that kind of like... I don't know what the word is. Kind of let the cat out of the bag for me, because I always thought those things were live. Like watching like a pre-show at home. Like, let's go to... Byron Saxton or Kathy Kelly outside with the WWE Universe. When I saw that on the show while we're sitting inside, I'm like, dude, that happened like 2 hours ago.
Well, and like I said, they did that shoving match thing, and that's I turned to you and I said, that poor girl. And then they did it again, and I'm like, oh, so it's planned.
Yeah.
All right.
I should, like, like it's one of those things you see and you're like, oh, that makes sense. It's fucking wrestling. Of course, everything is set up.
Yeah, and then we eventually got inside. You and I took a trip down to the merch location.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Do we want to talk about the other thing? They gave us anxiety.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, I'll let you bring it up.
I don't. Well, the thing is, I don't know who's listening. I don't want to get nobody in trouble. Well, so the only reason we were able to go to SummerSlam this year, completely for free, by the way.
For free.
For free. Did not spend a dime on entry. My fiance's uncle works for some company. I don't know what company it is. And I don't think I should say it anyway, even if I did know. They rent out suites.
Yes.
At Ford Field for like each event, like Lions games, the Taylor Swift concert, Ed Sheeran concert that was there like a couple weeks before, whatever. And it kind of like as like a reward for employees, you can like enter in like a drawing for them. And he somehow won 6 tickets.
Yes.
To SummerSlam. So I was like, oh, sweet, Literally the first thing I said was, because they obviously me and my fiance were going to go, and then her stepdad and her brother were going to go because all the wrestling fans in the family. Turns out then later other people wanted to go, yada yada yada. We get to the event, and there's 7 of us. We have 6 tickets to the suite.
And I guess as you're telling the story, yeah, because that's as we were getting there, the seventh person, right? As we're getting there, you mentioned how they'd have a separate entrance from us. They'd have a separate location. I'm like, oh, okay. And then all seven, they're all going through the same entrance. I'm like, huh.
Well, I don't know if you noticed her ticket, because she said that she, like an hour before they were supposed to leave, because we went to Wrestlecon without them, and they were going to meet us at Ford Field. That she bought her own ticket, and she was just going to go and chill. And I knew as soon as she said that, like, that's not what's going to happen. But my first instinct was like, I have to make sure fucking Logan gets into this. Because I promised him that he would go, right? And I made sure to tell everybody that literally the day of, I'm like, I need to bring Logan. I owe Logan this. He has to come with us. So, my first thought was that this person, the other person was coming, was they're going to fucking send Logan packing, like, home. I'm like, that ain't happening on my watch. I'm making sure he gets in. So, like, as soon as like the text got sent to me that this person was coming with a separate ticket, I was like, something's gonna happen here. So we get our own side entrance, whatever, or not our own. Like, there's other people there, but like the club and suite entrance up like to the parking deck.
And it was a lot faster. Because I'll admit, I'll say this now: had we had to buy tickets and go through that regular line, I don't know if I would have handled it. Like, that was such a long line, and there's so many people, and lines don't bother me. What bothers me is fucking people not following, like, the protocol, and they're like, hey, go this way, and they just all, like, merge and funnel. I hate it. I want to start swinging. But we got to go in real easy, no problems.
Well, there was a problem. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh,
yeah, her ticket wouldn't scan. It said that somebody else already scanned it. So she got scammed out of $20 or $50, whatever, how much she paid for it, I don't remember. She got scammed out of that. But for some reason, the security guard just let her in anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't, like, her ticket was already scanned. Like, the Ford Field security should not have let her in at all.
I don't, they didn't buy another one for her?
No, her mom went over there and, like, was like, we bought this, like, took care of it. I don't know, mom did or something, and she was walking with us.
Yeah, and like I said, that's when even before that, I was like, I thought she'd have an different spot. Okay, and then as we're walking, I'm like,
Well, then, just like it's like a separate like ticketing thing, I guess. I don't know how it works. We're fucking poor. We don't know.
Yeah,
I never had this suite entrance before, but like the tickets on her stepdad's phone, because I got sent to his phone. Yep. Like, they just weren't scanning. Like, the lady could not scan it on her thing, and like I'm sweating bullets. It's like one of those things. I had like the mindset, especially the things like I enjoy and like, that if something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong, and like it's just gonna be ruined. So I'm sweating bullets that this isn't working. It eventually gets scanned in. It works. We walk up the stairs, and I'm still noticing there's 7 of us, and only 6 tickets have been scanned.
Yeah.
So we get there. Eventually, somebody comes to their senses. Is like, hey, you need to stay down here. And they tell to the person with the non-ticket, like, hey, you need to stay down here for a sec. So we go up to the elevator, up to our suite, and then Logan's already has anxiety reliving it. So we get there, and he has to scan the tickets again. This time it works more smoothly. And then this is where like
we get these cool bracelets.
Yeah, this is where the deception comes in, because
I'm a sentimental guy. I keep all my bracelets.
Yeah,
and I kept this one, and just don't put your bracelet on too tight.
Well, no, this is where the deception comes in, because they're like, hey, the last time I was here, we were never there before. Hey, last time we were here, you guys put it on too tight. You mind if I do it? And the guy's like, oh yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah, and he did that. And he did that for, I think, 2 to 3 people did that.
Yeah, I just had him do it for me because I didn't want to like.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah. I even told him. I don't know if you caught. I'm like, it feels a little loose, so I had him like pull more. Like I nope.
Yeah,
nope.
Me and Logan were in the same mindset. Whereas, like, once we got that bracelet on, we tightened it, and, like, we're never getting out of this fucking area. Yeah. You can't take it away from us. So then we got in, and then we go to the suite. Free food, free beverages.
Oh, I'll describe the food in a second.
We'll
My
get there.
goodness.
So we get in there, and we're like, oh shit, this is pretty nice. And then, the stepdad and the mom left to go get the other one with the extra bracelet. I don't know what they did, but they came back like 10 minutes later with her. So it worked, but me and Logan were sweating the entire time for like the next 2 hours.
Well, yeah, especially because they had a concierge that would constantly come in.
Yeah.
And there was usually someone without a bracelet, and it was always the person by the concierge.
I was like, hey, if they come in trying to like kick somebody out for it, we're with those guys because we weren't the only ones in there. It was like another family that worked at the same company. Like, we're with them. If anybody asks, we don't know these people. We're staying here. We don't care if they get kicked out. We'll find another way home. We're staying in here for this. Well, I think that's eventually I made the excuse for us to leave to go get merch down there because I felt like if anything was gonna happen, it was gonna be then. I didn't want to be there to get kicked out. So I was like, Logan, let's go look at this fucking merch table.
My fat ass already had a plate of wings, so I was like, let me finish these.
I was never like wanted you to finish a plate of wings faster.
But yeah, the food when you walk in, because I can still remember it. You had these little sliders, which at the beginning of the night were delicious. At the end of the night, still delicious. Bunch were a little hard, but they were sitting under a heat lamp. So what are you gonna do? Get some wings, and they had 3 sauces there. That you could put on them or dip them in. Delicious. They had a salad, and it was a real good salad too. It had the thick cut bacon on it. They had some shrimp cocktail that was pretty good too. They had a fruit plate, and I've recently discovered I really like pineapple. So my first like 3 plates, I'm pretty sure I had all the pineapple there. They had chips and dip off to the side. One of it was a dill dip, one of it was a garlic dip. They had popcorn on the table. Oh, I think that's it. As I'm going through everything, I had my fair share of salad. I had some wings. Like I said, the burger was good. They had a fridge that they had stocked. You know, I was excited because there's Diet Coke, because you don't always have Diet. There's regular Coke. They brought Sprite up at one point. They had lemonade. They had these vodka seltzers, or vodka sodas. I had 4 before, and at the end of the night, the concierge asked us if we wanted more popcorn, because we ate a lot of popcorn. And Anthony told her no, we don't need it refilled. He went down and sat in the actual seats. I was sitting up at the bar still, just having a good old time. Concierge comes back, refills the popcorn, and goes, I know he said no, but you look like you could use some more. I go, oh, thank you. And she goes, I also put 2 more of those neutrals in the fridge for you.
Oh, God.
I'm like, oh! Yeah, so I had 6 by night's end. I don't know if the concierge thought I was going to leave a big tip, or what, but she took care of me. I appreciate it. I wish they would brought a little...
I was told before we got there that the company already handled the tip for her.
Yeah, so I don't know what she wanted. I don't know what she wanted.
But, which I don't know. That could be like BS that I was given, so we wouldn't. I don't know, like if somebody in the group was like anti-tipping or something. But I don't know. I assume that it was taken care of, because I would feel bad if she did not end up getting anything. But I was told that
she did real good.
That the company gave her a substantial tip, like the company.
Yeah, she did really good. But, yeah, when we went down to the merch area, I finally caved. So my idea, and I told you this there, I wanted a football jersey. So I went to WrestleMania 23, and my dad got a football jersey. I didn't get one because I'm still growing at that point, right? You don't want to get one and I can't wear it. You don't want to get one that's just going to sit there forever. I didn't realize, I should have, when he got the jersey at WrestleMania 23, also Ford Field, so black and blue. This was SummerSlam 2023. So it was almost the same damn jersey. I didn't do that. I pivoted. I got a mini football helmet, which for $35, pretty good. Because I know, like, a typical mini helmet like that, like of State or Michigan or even, Detroit Lions, can go $25-$30. And I know that WWE likes to raise prices with their shit on it. Right. I got that. I got a koozie for my wife. I got a koozie for my brother. I was trying to find things that didn't say I was there, And I also didn't want to do a T-shirt because I didn't want to fumble and pick the wrong one or um, yeah, it was a good setup. It was the what was the fan zone? Is that what they called it?
It was like a fan. Who does the Fanatics?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a Fanatic store. Um, I mean, it was fun. It was a good setup. They let just enough people in. Everyone answered the right questions. I bought a program too, because as I've started to go to the live events again, I went once with Zion in Grand Rapids. We just went to the holiday show. I went to a SmackDown taping with my brother, my friend Barry, my wife, and then I went to the Raw taping with my wife. So now Summerslam. So I've got 4 programs. I'm a little disappointed they're not like they used to be. I don't know if you remember the old programs.
Yeah.
Where it would have the people and then it'd have a little blurb about like what they're doing. Like, and the one I remember had Chris Benoit, and it was right about WrestleMania 20, and he talked about wanting to, beat Triple H, keep the title. This one, it just has pictures of everyone on the roster, which it's kind of cool because my events have been spaced out to where certain people get elevated. Like LA Knight, the last time I went, was a part of the male models. Well, maybe not the last time, maybe 2 times ago. So he was at the back of the book. Now, LA Knight's at the front of the book. It's just kind of cool to see where people go. I thought, like I said, I thought the helmet price was reasonable. We went back up. I had more plates of food. I had more drink. I didn't feel the drink. I don't know if it was the adrenaline of the show, if it was the anxiety of what we talked about. I didn't feel it until it was I was posting on my account and on the podcast account. I don't know, 3, 4 in the morning. And then I'm like, I'm going to watch a YouTube video. And I went to like do something. I looked at my screen just right. And I'm like, ooh, that didn't feel good. So I just shut it off, went to bed.
Yeah, it was the whole experience at SummerSlam. It was fun. Not really gonna get into the show too much. That's if you want to. If you want a recap of the show, or our opinions on it, go check out. We live tweeted it, or go
only
watch somebody
two
else.
things I'll say is one, I am very disappointed in my LA Knight realization. I thought they were gonna have him win the Battle Royal because he's getting a push. And I mean, this past SmackDown proved he's not getting that U.S. title. Ray won it. Sorry to spoil it for everyone. He's probably going to do a thing with Dominic again. Hooray. But anyway, after LA Knight won it, they showed this video, which he touched on at the press conference. Oh, I time traveled, haha. And it was him, Bianca, and Macho Man. And Macho Man did ooh, and then before he could get to yeah, it was LA Knight going yeah. And the realization set in. And that's I turned to you. No, that's the only reason they had him win, isn't it? And then I thought about it, and you know what color his shirt is now? It's that yellow and red.
Yeah.
Like Macho Man used to do. LA Knight's not getting a goddamn thing except marketing. He's not getting a title. If he gets a title, I'll be shocked. Plus, they compared this Battle Royal to the Andre Battle Royal, and from there on, it's a stinker. I guess, talking about the Battle Royal, apparently Triple H liked to goof fans because how we were promised a big return, it was Omos, and it's because he's a big return. And I described it in the car. Road Dogg's like, we gonna do anything at SummerSlam? We gonna do anything at SummerSlam? They want a big return. Omos. And then Road Dogg's like, what do you mean? They want like The Rock or no, get it? Because he's big. Oh. Wow. The other thing I want to touch on is people really wanted The Rock there.
I wanted The Rock there.
I mean, I wanted The Rock there too. I wanted The Rock. You figure before this, Stone Cold had that rumor of doing the thing with Grayson Waller. Right. I realized that was dead on arrival when Waller was in the Battle Royal. No Cena because the strike. I realized once everyone he could have done stuff was in the Battle Royal, that was dead on arrival. Still hopeful for The Rock. Supposedly, some of the staff, Ford Field, said The Rock was there as a guest.
I'm never fucking trusting anybody at that fucking stadium ever again.
And there's the part in the main event. Jimmy Uso comes out, and everyone thought it was The Rock. The wrestling fan in me knew it wasn't The Rock, because The Rock is kind of a self-centered guy when it comes to wrestling. And he's not just going to come in through the crowd as a surprise. His music's going to hit. There's going to be pyro. He's going to do his little, where he jumps at the top of the ramp, and then he's going to run down. As soon as I saw someone in a mask, I thought...
I was under the impression that you come out after. If you didn't come out during like the show, that's my only other real complaint about the show, other than like one of the two other matches. But there was no fun to be had. Like, as soon as
it was just match
started,
after match.
It was like, okay, we're gonna get through all these matches. Everybody's getting 20-30 minutes. Bam, bam, boom, boom, boom. Like, I want some shenanigans. I want some fun, some excitement.
Yeah, I mean,
and
especially
enthusiasm here.
SummerSlam, there usually is too. Whether it's, something summer theme. They had one stupid. It was Gable and Otis, and they put Miz in a box. That was and it was an ad. I forget what it was for. Was it for C4? Yeah, because Gable, the Olympian, the guy that's in perfect shape. Yeah, he drinks energy drinks. Yep, sure he does.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they put Miz in a box, sent him away. But yeah, everyone thought it was The Rock, and I realized, I thought it was going to be one of the other cousins that I've touched on before, either Roman's brother Lance on Anoa'i, or Jacob Fatu, who we saw at the Ric Flair's Ric Flair's final match. I knew it wasn't Fatu because he's a big boy. He's like Rikishi levels big, so I knew it wasn't him. So I'm like, maybe it's Roman's brother. I'm like, maybe they're going to bring someone else in for the bloodline. Nope. It was Jimmy, and then God bless this kid there was a few rows below us, kept yelling throughout the entire match, go Jimmy, go, and you could tell he was young. And then finally when Jimmy came out, he was like, Jay, why would you do that to your brother? And I'm like, oh, buddy, no one's correcting you, huh? But, no, it was a good time. Food was good, drink was good. I'm glad I didn't have to pay anything. I, into quite a bit of cons and concerts.
Well, I think we made up for the money we would have spent on tickets on other things that weekend, though. So
yeah.
We should. Well, no, we should probably. We're about an hour in. We should probably cover our following day. Well,
yeah, we went
hold on. I actually went too far. Before we left Detroit, we had to walk. We get out of the stadium. It's kind of a weird feeling. Everybody was like depressed for some reason.
There was, at the beginning of the show, everyone was saying yeah. At the end of the show, there was not a yeah in sight.
Everyone was kind of just walking. Unless maybe we just walked through the wrong part of town. But we decided we had a long walk. Ford Field's on one side of town. We had to walk all the way through downtown to get over to the Rensen, which is like the most. If you look at the Detroit skyline, that's like probably the only building you'll recognize there for non-natives. So we had to walk all the way over there, and I finally get to the ticket booth. I'm like, let's get out of here, right? The fucking meter would not scan my phone to let me out, and the help button wasn't working except for the guy over there. I almost punched the screen on this.
Yeah, it was close. It was one of those times where you talked about in the StarCast one. You can kind of you can tell when I'm getting to a point, so that I know when you're getting to a point. So then I just start scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, I can't really help or diffuse the situation, so
I got my girl in the back seat yelling at me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I figured it out though. I used my big boy brain, figured out how to get out of there. Turns out you can't use the Apple Wallet feature on ParkWiz. I guess that just doesn't work. So, because that's what I was doing. So I had to go into the app and get out. So we got out, took the long drive home. It's Michigan. It's construction
almost
time.
Got hit?
Almost got hit a couple times. And I was already upset at that point. So if I would have got hit by that bad word in the car right there, I probably would have got out and went to jail.
I had a nice little time. We were listening to a podcast talking about the early days of Hulk Hogan and TNA, which I've kind of touched on here. I enjoy listening to people's own reactions on it. We made it back to your place.
About 2 a.m. and we had to be in Flint by 9
Yeah.
9 or 10
Yeah.
a.m. next day. But we got up nice and late. Realized we probably weren't gonna make it there exactly at 10. Went and got some McDonald's breakfast, and it made the nice. The trip up there wasn't that bad actually. Honestly, it was a lot easier to drive going there than it was to Detroit for SummerSlam. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I gotta give Flint credit. Whether it's from my house here or your house. I mean, it's like a straight shot. It's not too bad. We got there. The first thing we noticed was there's quite a bit of parking already taken up.
Yeah, I thought we were like early. I was like, oh, we'll be able to park semi close. Be one of the first ones in. Even if we were like got there like 20 minutes after it opened, I guess I underestimated how popular and involved like some of the people in the area were for this convention, because it was packed when we got in there. But I'll give the staff credit though. We did not wait long to get in. Even when my fiance had to go buy a ticket real quick, she beat us over there by the time we got our press passes for it.
I was saying, and it was people were already leaving when we got there, which means they got what they needed. There was a lot there. I like to compare it to what I remember the Grand Rapids Comic Con being. The Grand Rapids Con's kind of blown up. It's definitely a number 2 to Motor City, but it's packed. Like, I feel like a sardine, and I said I hate it. I didn't feel that at this one. The only true weird thing about this one is some of the lights went off, and I thought they did it to like make it cooler in there. Then people started selling flashlights, so it wasn't supposed to happen.
I heard it was, like I said just now, like in Michigan for some reason, even though we just gave DTE like literally billions of dollars in taxpayer money to fix infrastructure here. Literally anytime it rains lightly or the wind's over like 40 miles an hour, the power's going out somewhere. And that's what happened there. It wasn't raining hard, it was sprinkling, and somehow they lost power to the building, and
half of the building.
There's some sort of like backup thing, I'd assume, and I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if they lost power from the grid or if like they blew like a fuse or something. But something happened. The lights went halfway out. It was fine, not that big of a deal. It was. I liked their setup that they had though. Like you said, there was a lot of people there, but you didn't feel it because it was on the floor of the hockey rink there. And then there's a whole other section that was like all spread out.
I enjoyed it. They had some good photo op areas. You had a big banner with really cool Comic-Con, which we got some pictures in front of. They had a couple Spider-Man. It was supposed to look like the Miles Morales type Spider-Man with spray paint and everything in the background. The Ghostbusters Detroit were there. I got my usual picture of the car and the State Puff. They had some really cool wrestling merch. I got a Scott Steiner comic, an old school Ric Flair AWA figure, some micro brawlers of Ric Flair and Holly Race. They also had some Godzilla things that I wanted from Japan. That was pretty cool. My wife got more stickers. I got some kitty cat horror posters. It was just a good time. The vendors were all good. You yourself got something.
I did. Which is funny. Because I didn't want to buy it. I didn't want to buy it, especially since it costs more than retail, which I'm not really a big fan of. But it was funny because this guy at work, literally, what day was it? I think we were driving to SummerSlam. He called me because you weren't in the car yet, and he told me that the store I work at, because we're both wrestling fans, we both work together like overnight at this retail store around here, and he's like, dude, we got a new shipment of AEW figures. I was like, oh shit, dude, no way. Like I was thinking to myself, I don't work again until like today, essentially.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like who do we get? He's like, well, we got the whole line for whatever, like the Series 4 or whatever.
Yep.
So I had like Hangman, Cody, Jade, and then CM Punk. He's like, yeah, I bought all of them, and there was only one CM Punk, dude. I'm sorry. I was like, you motherfucker. like I was, which what sucks because I told the guy that works in toys back there, like if you ever see
Yeah.
a box that says Jazzwares on it, let me know. And
Right.
I put the work in for months. I would check the UPC when we're getting shipments in, and we were supposed to get a shipment for the past 3 weeks, but they kept pushing it back. And of course, the weekend I'm not there, they actually get sent there. So
Of
I
course.
was like, I told him, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm probably just buy the one from Ringside Collectibles eventually anyway, the Blood and Guts
Yeah.
one. He was like, okay, cool. So then we get there, and then we see it there, and I think my fiance and you went into cahoots to buy it, even though after I said I didn't want you guys to buy it,
Well,
but you guys decided to buy it anyway.
it was a really cool booth. It had AEW figures. It had some classic, the classic Superstar line from Jax. There's a lot in there. And then I asked him if, I'm like, you gonna get that? That's your guy. And, he said what he told me. And then we were talking about something. He said, I'll probably wait. And then his fiance ran up and grabbed the figure. And then she's like, you've got to get this. And he goes, no, no. So then I had to go back because there was something my wife wanted. And then I was like, your fiance talked about going back for it. So I was like, when I go back, do you want me to, like, pick it up? And she's like, yeah, that'd be great. And I'm like, all right, I'll see if it's there. And the two were still there because she had the two side by side. And then, which hopefully I got the one with the better face because there was one she like hated the face on. Then I told her what it was, and then I bought it. And then the guy that sold it tried to talk to me about CM Punk. Like, oh man, and he like was making the figure sound rare. So I was like, yeah, you've got another there. Then he just stopped talking and I walked away.
That's probably my only thing I dislike about cons is like some of the vendors are not like they're not people. They're not like a people person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's the moment that my wife and I talk about. If I'm just walking or I'm doing whatever, I'll make like fart noises. So and it was shortly after the lights went out, so we're walking. I'm just going. And one of the vendors like looked and said, "Well, you too." And I'm like, I mean that's funny and all, but what if like I was someone that had like an actual tick, or and then you just you too. It's like, oh, that would have upset everyone. But I was like, haha, yep. No, they had a lot of cool merch there. Like I said, I got the Ric Flair AEW figure, or AWA figure, and I was close to I was close to getting the Ric Flair old Hasbro, but that's about the last old school Ric Flair figure I need. He also had the Freebirds. Little pricey for my blood. They did have their jackets, which is cool, but their jackets were pretty much just mini Confederate flags, so...
Yikes. That's a big yikes.
Yeah, it was the time. But no, it was definitely a good con. I can understand why they say it's the biggest summer con in Michigan. Yeah, it was... I mean, no complaints from me.
I think so far this year, if we had to rank all the cons we've been to, I'd probably put this one at the top right now, just based on like venue size, even like prices of like the food there. I don't know if you guys bought any food or not.
No, we didn't.
It was pretty inexpensive, like comparatively speaking, for con. A lot of open space. A lot of the vendors were nice, and even the vendors were fairly priced, I'd say, for like vendor prices. I know some of the other ones we went to, a lot of like I know you gotta make a profit and like you're there to make money.
Yep.
But a lot of them were just absurdly overpriced. But not this one. I really enjoyed it. Plus, like we said before, even leading up to this, the guy that runs Really Cool Comic Con, he was super cool to us.
Oh yeah.
We're a relatively, probably even compared to the people he works with, relatively on the smaller side of people, of quote unquote media, people that he would interact with.
Yep.
And he treated us with the utmost like respect and like dignity, and he took us seriously, which is a lot more than I can say to some of the other people we talked to.
Yeah, I mean, I would think him and Astronomicon are like the big two that take us seriously. which
I wouldn't even say like take seriously. That might not even be the right word. We're like showed us like we're like common courtesy and respect too.
yeah.
Because it was like he could have very easily looked and be like, oh, these guys only have a couple thousand total followers. Like, whatever.
And they were also the two that I think had the best social media engagement, because as we posted pictures before the con and during each of their cons, their social media would like retweet. It was cool. We definitely had support from them. They have support in us, and like you said, really cool con. I know last year they had ABC News as one of the people that covered them. So I mean, like you said, in the pond of media, we are definitely a small fish comparatively.
Yeah. Then you guys took off pretty early. You guys had a shorter drive than us, so I was like, I think I'll stay behind and enjoy it a little bit more and walk around. But I think the day before kind of got the best of me.
Yep.
I was kind of flushed, kind of not.
That's why I got out. That's why I got out of there when I did.
I felt like dehydrated because my intention when I went back inside was like, all right, I'm gonna try to do some funny things. So there's a lot of anime people here, and we're pro wrestling. And I got inside, and I kind of ate, and I sat down, and I did not feel well. So that might be something we can do next year. Because Wrestlecon, they are doing another convention at the Dort Financial Center in Flint.
Yep.
It's the first weekend in August next year, 2024. I don't know the exact date. I didn't write it down, but I knew when I looked at it that it was the first weekend. So if you're located in Michigan, like by all means, Flint is not a far drive from very many places here in Michigan. No. So I would 100% recommend going check this out.
Yeah, for the ones that we've gone to, definitely this one and Astronomicon are ones to look out for and to go to. I think Really Cool Comic-Con has the better vendors and a better open space. I think Astronomicon I think it's got a cooler feel to it. You'd only understand if you were there.
Yeah, they had like a little bit like bigger name guests.
They had a bigger budget. Yeah, and then the guests were better too.
Well, I wouldn't say better. I'd just say bigger,
for
more
us.
Famous. I'd say. Even like in general, they had like the Michael Myers guy there.
Yeah.
But, I'm assuming. Like I said, we're not anime guys, so I don't know. They had a lot more anime related guests. I don't know how huge they are relatively to their world. Which it might have been really cool to meet some of these guys. I don't know, but in a wrestling aspect and some of our other interests that kind of cross over. I wanted to do for Logan shot it down. We're gonna do a different variation of it. I want to do a ranking of all the cons we went to this year, but we didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I would say that Really Cool Con would probably be 1 or 2 on our list if we ever made that list.
And what I was gonna say is in Michigan in general, I think Really Cool Con and Astronomicon are up there with the Motor City Comic Con and the Grand Rapids Con. Just overall experience. A lot of cities are getting their own conventions, and I mean some of them are worth it if you're in the area, but to drive say an hour and a half to one, especially in like the winter and but definitely the big four if you're in Michigan and you're interested in the con scene, regardless of who you're going to meet there. It would be, in no particular order, Motor City, Grand Rapids, Really Cool, and then Astronomicon for me.
Yeah. I think definitely for sure we'll probably be at the one next year too.
Yep. I think we'll be at the one next year, and I think we'll be at the other Astronomicon next year. I don't know if we'll hit up as many conventions this year or next year as we did this year.
You never know. Next year's a whole year away. You never know.
Yeah. I'd say squared circle could be an option again. Maybe now that we've got some experience and we've got some coverage, maybe others will reach out. I know that, like we said before, we reached out to WWE, we reached out to AEW, we reached out to C2E2, we reached out to Big Time Wrestling in Ohio. They do a convention. Yeah,
it was a nice time. I hopefully there's no big event the same weekend where we had to split our time, because I would love to go to this convention again. Like fully energized and
Yes.
not operating off of 3 hours of sleep. Because there's a lot of missed opportunity. I feel like content wise
Yes.
there.
Yeah, we were definitely tired. My wife pointed out how so normally at a convention, and I think I've talked about it on here. I have a rule where I walk around first and I don't buy anything. She could tell that I was tired because I'd be like, "Oh, I want that," and so clearly, like in the back of my head, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing multiple walkthroughs." And then I fell asleep on the way home, and yeah.
I fell asleep on the way home too. I was like,
Uh-oh.
I told my fiance, like, you gotta drive home. You gotta drive home. Well, we didn't go home. We went to her sister's house,
Okay.
who was about to have a baby. So we went and visited her. Yada yada yada. And I fell asleep on the way over there, and it's only and she lives like just outside of Lapeer, so it wasn't even that far of a drive. But yeah,
Okay.
I passed out as well.
Yeah, we've got one more con on our 2023 tour.
Yeah, the summer convention tour of 2023. We had shirts made.
Yes.
Those will probably be put up on the Etsy as well. If you want to,
Yeah.
if you want to be part of the tour a little bit, there you go. They'll be on there. I just have to redesign them for the Etsy store. They're just shirts we just made with like a Cricut machine here, so I'll redesign them on the website for Etsy.
Yep. We've got the one more. We got Battle in the Creek coming up at the end of September. Rob Van Dam, recent AEW appearance. He'll be there. Brian Cage is going to be there. Alex Hammerstone. Dan the Beast Severin, former WWE superstar, as well as NWA heavyweight champion and UFC fighter. Let's see, there'll be a fan fest. There'll be a wrestling show itself. It's gonna be a good time.
They're running some sort of promotion. I feel like I should have looked this up beforehand, but let me look it up. They're doing some sort of promotion that if they sell out.
Yes.
They've been doing a lot of giveaways recently. I just want to make sure I
Yep.
get this right before I say it. They've been doing a lot of giveaways for fans that have bought tickets before, which honestly I think is really cool. I haven't seen that for many other like con promoters. So if you buy like your tickets early here for them, so it might be a little bit too late for this year because they're getting kind of close. They're kind of wrapping up. You never know. There might be some more. They just added they did a Lions preseason game giveaway. We just recently, so still worth a shot, but maybe even for next year. If you buy your tickets early, you automatically be entered in these random giveaways that they do, whether it be for like tickets to Summerslam, for example, this year, or any other events in the area. But they are doing if they sell out Battle in the Creek 3, which is the one they're doing this year, if they sell out before the event starts, they will send 4 people that bought tickets to the show, to Battle of the Creek show, to Survivor Series.
Very cool. And like I said, besides those that I listed, they've also got Congo Kong, former Impact superstar, Hernandez, former Lucha Underground and Impact superstar. He was a mainstay in the tag division. Al Snow is going to be there, former ECW alumni, Bill Alfonso, RVD and Sabu's manager, Chris Masters, Kerry Morton, the NWA light heavyweight champion. It's a good little mix, and the Fan Fest. I'm sure it'll have more vendors than WrestleCon, so definitely check it out. There's not a whole lot of wrestling conventions in Michigan consistently, so I think this will be good if this continues to grow.
Yeah, and that all depends on like your guys' support as well, which I don't think Bound Creek or any other conventions we mentioned have that problem.
No.
But these are obviously very expensive things to put on, and the more people that spend like their money at these conventions, the more they can grow. So, because if you even look at the Battle in the Creek guys, like their convention from just like the years before, were not as big as this one that they're coming up with now.
No, it's continuously growing.
So yeah, so support your local conventions, wrestling or non. Because like the fandoms for these things, they're big, but yeah, well, they need the support as well. So
Yep.
so remember to support them. Other than that, I think we pretty much covered it all.
Yeah, we covered our whole tiring weekend into one podcast.
Yeah, it's exhausting. We're coming up on our podcast. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. We'll have our Randy Savage episode here in the next couple weeks. We'll be at Battle in the Creek, so we'll have a review for that as well.
We'll rank every professional wrestler that we've met on a tier list.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of reminiscing, a lot of stories you may have heard, a lot of stories you haven't heard. It'll be a good time. At one point, like I said, we'll also go through my wrestling collection, so that way people can finally get a grasp when we mention it, that it's not just like a little corner of memorabilia here or there.
It's like a whole basement.
Yeah.
No, we'll get into it. We'll cover it. It'll be fun. I think we're doing like you recorded it, and then we're gonna do like a live.
Yeah, essentially a review. Yep.
Yeah, so that'd be fun. I can't wait to roast Logan's basement.
Plus, I'm sure we still have some matches in our World Cup.
Yeah, we do. We'll see. Maybe that'll get finished by 2024. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's a long cup. It's a long one.
We give our wrestlers breaks here. We're a union, so
yeah.
You check out our Etsy store. We got a lot of great stuff to support the podcast. If that's something you're inclined to do, or want to support us financially, open up that checkbook.
Yeah.
Fucking man up, nut up. Put your dong down on the table and spread some PWP merch into your life. Would really appreciate that. Like I said, I'll have the summer tour shirt up here within the week or so, and then follow us on X. It's not Twitter no more.
Yeah.
So follow us on X, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, and the TikTok. So thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
Until then.